Hammurabi's Code. The ancient code of law known for its retaliatory justice. You know, an eye for an eye and all that. While the Code of Laws was not the first written set of laws in history, it is perhaps the most influential of the ancient codes. Much like the Babylonian king himself, whose fashion-forward beard designs pushed the envelope of what ancient man's facial hair could be. While you probably covered the basics of the code in school, your teachers most likely omitted some of the more bizarre items found in the 282 laws to protect your innocent developing brain from the harsh reality of ancient life. Yes, the codes leave no stone unturned, and here at Civics Review, we're about to rip the lid off of it. But before we dive into it all, don't forget to subscribe to Civics Review channel and leave us a comment and let us know what other bizarre topics you'd like to hear about. And the first stop on this bizarre tour is Law 108, which has to deal with the many currencies found in Mesopotamia during this time. The Babylonians employed a complex bartering system and had several forms of currency, including various values of silver and grain or corn in values called gur or ka. Now obviously, just like in today's time, you would prefer to receive actual money from somebody rather than a bushel full of corn. The silver is always going to retain its value over time, whereas corn is going to go bad quickly and will become useless unless used. But Hammurabi, being a man of the people, didn't want those in his kingdom going thirsty just because they lacked actual shekels, going so far as to convict female tavern keepers and throw them into the water if they refused to accept grain as payment. And when we say thrown into the water, we don't mean playtime at the pool. You were bound and tied and thrown in there to die, and as you were dying an agonizing death by drowning, I'm sure the thought most running through your mind would be, why didn't I just accept the corn as payment? Speaking of bars, Law 110 gets even weirder. This one having to do with a common dream most holy nuns share: opening up their own bar. Apparently, this was becoming so much of an issue that King Hammurabi had to put a stop to it. According to the code, a tavern was no place for a prioress, canceling Thursday's devout ladies' night across all of Babylon. Ah, what a wasted opportunity at some fantastic bar names. Rip in the chat for all the entrepreneurial reverend mothers. I would have supported your business if you would have accepted my corn. Not only do the codes have plans for Sisters of God, they also have contingency plans for dark magic and sorcery. To say Hammurabi's codes were thorough is the understatement of the millennium. Law number 2 gives instructions to the people and to the judges of Babylon on what to do if you're accused of something that cannot be proven. While most issues within the code can be judged by man, sorcery and witchcraft were beyond the Babylonian judges. And rather than pretend to know how to handle a claim from a citizen that a neighbor cast a curse upon their livestock, Hammurabi let the gods take the wheel of judgment on these issues. What? Who are you? Trial by ordeal is used to resolve claims of sorcery by tossing the accused into the river, bound and helpless. Should they truly be innocent, the gods would rescue the accused and prevent them from perishing at the bottom of the river. If the person being tossed into the river did survive, this of course would be disastrous for the accuser. As punishment for false accusations, the accuser would be put to death and their house claimed by the survivor of the trial. Hammurabi was cool with whatever the gods decided to do in the case of witchcraft or sorcery. It's hard to get a feel on Hammurabi's views of the supernatural, as Law 21 moves from witchcraft to potentially haunting someone's home on purpose. Breaking a hole into someone's wall like the Kool-Aid Man in order to bust in and steal something from someone's home was a big no-no according to King Hammurabi. So much so that a thief who was caught doing this would be executed right outside your home. Because the thing I want to do most outside of my home is have executions take place from the souls of thieves whose spirits now look at me as the cause of their existence. This is a formal invitation for a ghost to haunt you. Maybe we've seen too many stories of haunted houses in our time, or maybe Hammurabi was just not a believer in vengeful spirits, but this seems like a recipe for disaster. However, maybe Hammurabi was a believer in vengeful spirits, because he actually set a curse upon his 282 laws. While he lived, no one would dare attempt to change Hammurabi's code. But he was no fool. As soon as he left this life, he knew his idiot successors would surely screw it all up and bring down the empire which he built. And so he placed a curse on his laws and had these curses inscribed on every giant tablet that bore his likeness. Inscribed in these curses, Hammurabi called upon all of the gods that he knew, each one tasked with delivering some kind of pain to the one who was foolish enough to change his rules. And the big one mentioned first is, if you try and change my name, if you erase me from history, these are the curses that are going to fall on your head. Darkness without light. Give him high fever, severe wounds that cannot be healed. Take away his successors. Deny him a son. Strike down his warriors, that the earth may drink their blood. Years of famine. The list goes on. Of course, when Hammurabi's code was rediscovered in 1901, parts of the tablet had been erased on purpose. But whoever ordered the tablet to be erased never got around to adding their own laws to the tablet. Did the curse of Hammurabi actually work? We'll save that one for another video. So what do you think? Did you learn about these bizarre facts in school, or did your teachers omit them to protect your brain from the harsh reality of ancient life? Oh, and while you're at it, check out another one of these videos from Civics Review.